Yo, what is up, gamers? Squirrely here. Thank you so much for joining me as always. It is my pleasure to bring you episode 2 of a series I just started where I review and discuss very controversial, heated, passionate topics in TF2, and I do my best to pick the most unpopular side in most cases and defend it. And I think it's very important. It's a sign of intelligence, really, and maturity to be able to hear both sides, politely disagree with some people, but be able to defend your side, understand the other side, and as well just come to your own conclusion. Nowadays, I think it's unfortunate that people, they close their ears, they close their minds, and they open their mouth. And it should be the exact opposite. More listening, more deep thinking, more discussion, and then you can make up your mind on your own. But you should be able to argue the other side just as well as your own side. So that's the goal of these videos. And today's video, I'm going to get a little bit more controversial with a topic that I think most people are not going to agree with me with, but that is totally fine. That's the whole point of this video. Today, I'm talking about Autobalance and my opinion to keep Autobalance and TF2 casual. Let's go.
I can try and push it back.
No, red team, Autobalance,
No, I'm
right.
getting rigged! I'm going Autobalance!
So, Autobalance is no fun, right? It just kills the game, it kills the server, everyone hates it, people always rage, and it's just never a good deal. It shouldn't be there, it's totally bogus, but I think there's good reasons why Valve has implemented this and why they've changed a little bit over time. If you've been playing casual a while ago, you will remember a time where actually when the teams would be unbalanced, Valve would prompt you and ask you, hey, would you like to switch teams? You'll get some more XP, something like that. They changed it eventually, actually pretty quickly. They took it out because it just wasn't really working. No one was really offering to change sides, and the games would just end up dying and people would leave anyway. So they reverted it back to what we have now, which means you just get autoed right away. Sometimes it'll prompt you and say you have 5 seconds and you're being autoed. Other times it just autos you right away. You don't even have a chance to react, which is kind of funny. If you're building you're an engineer building in your spawn, or you have an Uber or something, you just teleport to the other side of the server. But it happens to everyone. You can't really protect yourself against it, especially if you're in a lobby or you have a really high rank or MMR. You have a higher chance, as far as I've seen, of being autoed. Most people just don't really like it, but I think it has a place in TF2, and I'm going to do my best to explain why. Maybe I can change your mind and agree that Autobalance isn't such a bad thing. Unfortunately, people, for some reason these days, like to be outraged. They like to be the victim. They like to be angry. How could this happen to me? This is terrible. This game's horrible. It's like, dude, calm down. So I'm going to try to calm everyone down and explain the reason why I think you should keep Autobalance in TF2. If you're someone who really hates being auto-balanced and you want to avoid it, one trick you can do, if the game prompts you that you have 5 seconds and you will be auto-balanced, this gives you time to open up your console, type in retry. Some people even have a bind for it to just make it even quicker. So this isn't happening so much that it's like ruining servers. People are quitting TF2 and this game is horrible. I mean, there's also an argument to be said that people will leave TF2 for all kinds of reasons. I don't think it's ever happened because Autobalance is so wildly out of control. Usually it does give you a prompt. Sometimes it happens automatically and you have no chance. But I want to talk about this from a player standpoint, from a developer standpoint, and just the bigger picture community. I think it's good to look at things from a macro level and really have empathy and be able to understand different points of view, from whether it's from business and Gaben himself making these decisions, which obviously Gaben himself isn't making the decision, but you get what I mean. Everyone, Valve has to do their best to keep everyone happy, to keep things going smoothly, because you're never going to make everyone happy. You got to make a line in the sand and pick a side on certain things, and they decided to keep Autobalance in the game. Something that's interesting is a lot of community servers also have Autobalance, so it's not like it's just something from Valve and casual. Autobalance is part of console games, Halo, Xbox, like anything you can think of, handheld games, PC games. Autobalance is very natural and normal in so many online games because the whole goal, and my main case I'm going to be defending here, is to keep the game going and try to keep it balanced, or as balanced as possible. And that is the goal of Autobalance. Keyword there being balanced. Putting it frankly, that's the whole goal. Is 9 vs 12 is going to be a steamroll 90% of the time. So it's going to auto-balance some people to try to balance it out. Make it 10 vs 10, 9 vs 9, whatever. What usually happens if one team, a lobby quits, or a couple people quit, it will slowly start auto-balancing people to the other team if people don't connect quickly. Now, one of the things that also makes it most annoying is that if you're playing with your friends, you get auto-balanced, you're on a kill streak, you have 10 dominations, you're on the winning team, you've been putting in so much mental energy and effort to helping your team, and you're being a good player, and you're doing everything right, and then it feels like you get punished because you got autoed. It's especially worse when it happens at the very end of a game, and like you get autoed with like 2 seconds left and it says you lose. I would like to revert you back to the thought that this is casual, okay? I'm not saying it in a negative term like you're being too serious or casual means nothing matters. I'm just saying that the whole point of casual, from my perspective, and I'm pretty sure from Valve's perspective, is to make casual just an open, fun play area, a sandbox I like to call it, for you to do whatever, play whatever, and if it's really close game and competitive, that's great. If it's a total blowout, whatever, you can always leave and change servers. But the goal of Autobalance is to keep things going. It autoed you for a reason. Now, was it unlucky and happened at the very end? Yeah, of course. Is it unlucky that the other team rage quit before the map ended and you got pushed over and now you're getting spawn camped? Yes, of course. But in general, most of the time it actually helps out and it works. If it happens early in the game or when teams switch sides from offense to defense or whatever, a lot of times it evens it out. Now, there's lots of different reasons people have personal opinions on why they dislike Autobalance, but I think if you really had to boil it down to its core, it's something that happens that's unexpected and usually it's unwelcome, meaning you're going to have a very strong emotional reaction if it's the very end of a map and you're winning and then boom, you're autoed, now you're losing. You weren't ready for it and you're unhappy with the result. So that's your gut reaction. However, Autobalance can happen at different times. What if you get Autobalance to the winning team and now you feel great about, oh, I won? Or what about if it's Autobalance very early in the game and no team's really winning or losing and you're still kind of battling it out and there's plenty of time to play the map? So maybe Autobalance then is totally fine. So it depends on your expectations. Not exactly that Autobalance is inherently good or bad. The whole purpose of Autobalance objectively is to keep the teams even, to make a more balanced game and just keep the game going. It depends on your personal expectations. If you didn't want to get Autobalance to the losing team or at that time or for whatever reason you have your own personal goals and intentions that were automatically just changed and like, wait, now everything I was thinking about going and thinking about doing has just been thrown out the window. I'm on the other team. So most people get upset and leave. But if you don't have that sort of expectation, then it doesn't really matter. You're like, okay, great. Here's a new challenge. Life is all about challenges. That's the way I see it. Here's a new challenge. I'm on the losing team. They are really struggling. I'm going to do my best to fight back and root for the underdogs and help them win. And many times it does happen if you really try. I don't know how many countless times I've been on a team that's just super stacked. Even when I solo queue, sometimes it'll put me on a team that has a lobby and they're just going super sweaty and casual, which is fine. But I feel bad because the other team is getting just obliterated. And I'm just sitting there like, okay, let me get autoed. Let me get autoed. Please auto me. Please auto me. I want to help these guys. They can do it. Sure enough, I get autoed. And I'm not like the savior of casual, but I just start communicating, promoting teamwork. I'll run medic and, maybe heal our heavy so we can shut down their pyros or start upgrading things with our engineer. Just communicating in general, telling people when we're pushing, telling people when they Uber, where to back up, and all of a sudden, the tides turn. The lobby team now is getting pushed back, and they're not happy, of course, but we kept the game going, we kept things moving. It's all about effort. Instead of being upset, this sucks, now I'm on the losing team, and you just forfeit, or you just run some silly loadout class or whatever, how about try helping out? In my mind, I've always had the opinion that it's much better, and for me at least, and it's much more fun to be the underdog, to be on the losing team, to push back, because those victories feel so much better. There's so much more joy, and all these younger players and newer players like, oh my god, we did it, we won. And sometimes you hear them on the mic, it's like, that's a big deal. Like they've never captured the second point on certain maps, and you're like, hey, anytime, anytime, happy to help. Let's do it again. And it just feels good to help those players out, because being on stacked teams and steamrolling is just never fun, even from the winning side. So Autobalance, I'm okay with it. You can Autobalance me anytime. It might be uncomfortable for a quick second, but then you can duel your friends, you can help the losing team, teams will balance out hopefully. The whole goal is to keep the game going, keep people engaged, keep people playing, keep the map full, keep everything moving. It doesn't mean it's always going to be perfectly fair, perfectly balanced. Of course, if one team's running bad classes, there's never a medic, whatever, it's never going to be fair. You can get it as close as possible, and one thing that we do have control over is trying to keep teams fair in the number of players on each team. 9 versus 5 is never going to work, no matter what, but at least 6 versus 6, 10 versus 10, whatever, is going to be a little bit more balanced. Of course, this can still be steamrolls. One team has 3 huntsman snipers and a bunch of spies, the other team's running pocket medics. It's going to be a steamroll, but at least in most cases, if there's an even number of players, it's a better shot of making it a more fair and more balanced game. Another reason why I think people are very passionate about different topics in TF2 and Autobalance in general, because they take things kind of personal. They think, random crits always happen to me, and Autobalance always happens to me, and my team's always terrible. It's more the fact that you're a human being, and you're biased to remember things that have very strong emotional reactions. So you can win a bunch of games, you don't really notice it, but as soon as you get Autobalance to the losing team, you're going to remember that. That's a very strong emotional reaction. You're upset, you're going to change servers right away, you're going to leave, talk trash to your team, whatever it is. That's a very strong reaction, and human beings, for some reason, whatever it is, they remember negative things a lot more than positive things. It's nothing personal. People get auto-balanced all the time. It's super common. It's just built into to games. Any multiplayer game with auto-balance is very normal. So don't take it so personal and get so upset about it. It's just part of the game, and it has good intentions. At the end of the day, auto-balance is meant to keep things going, keep the server full, make it more even on both sides, and that's it. So don't get so upset about it. Just see it as a new challenge to help the other team. Does it always work perfectly? No. When it affects you at the wrong time, are you happy about it? No. But it has good intentions, which I think you just have to admit that you might not like it, but it's there for a good reason, and it does do more good than harm. Something I thought that we could meet in the middle is if we had a feature, sort of like just on your regular preferences with your matchmaking settings, if they had a little checkbox there that you could maybe put a high or low priority for being auto-balanced. This way, if you don't mind being auto-balanced like myself, I would check high, or yes, please auto-balance me, whatever. That way, if it comes up where they are going to auto-balance somebody, it will go through all the people who don't mind being auto-balanced first. So like myself, it would make me switch teams. Now, no one who doesn't want to be balanced doesn't have to. I don't mind. I can be balanced first. If it goes through everyone says no, it'll still pick someone randomly, whatever. But you can't avoid it completely, but at least you have a better chance, a lower chance of being autoed if you really don't want to. So I think this would be something very simple to implement. Maybe not everyone uses it, and most people are going to check no, but at least that small percentage of people like myself who don't mind, I'll volunteer. I'll raise my hand and say yes. If it's going to come up to it, auto-balance me. I don't mind. I like to help the underdogs. Now, hopefully you guys can tell by now I am very passionate about this topic. I really enjoy getting into these deep conversations about these things and just coming up with solutions, places where we can meet in the middle and kind of appease both sides, or as best we can make both sides happy. And that's what it's all about. We're all going to have our personal preferences and bias, but it's good to have open ears, listen to both sides, argue your case, and I think it's a sign of maturity as well, as to be able to change your mind. Once in a while, you're like, hey, you know what? I never thought about it from that perspective. This is why this exists, or doesn't exist, or whatever it may be. Because in life, there's a lot of things we don't want to do, but we have to do them because they have a good cause. Maybe it's having a job. You got to pay your bills, right? Taking your vitamins so you don't get sick. Paying taxes so that there's roads and firefighters and police department. Like, there's a reason, they have good intentions, even though you might not like them. They're there, and in my opinion, that's kind of auto-balance. That's what it's there. It has good intentions. You might not like it. Now, what I'd like to hear from you guys, though, is not if you like auto-balance or not, because most people don't like to be auto-balanced, but explain your case for why it should be removed, why there should be no auto-balance. Like, give a good case as best you can of why you think it would help, anyone and everyone, the bigger picture, not just yourself, but the whole community, casual, people who play. Why do you think it would be beneficial to change it and there's no more auto-balance? I would say it's not worth it. It's going to hurt a lot more games than it helps. So we should keep it, and you can always change servers, or play with against your friends for a while and make it fun, or, find the challenge in helping the losing team. But as best you can, plead your case why you think there should be no auto-balance. And also, if I change your mind and now you're kind of more open-minded about auto-balance and you know why it's there and you know why it's there to help. So let me know, you guys, down below. Alright gamers, well that is going to wrap it up for me on episode 2 of this series covering controversial topics. We talked about auto-balance. So definitely, before I let you guys go, give yourself some credit, a pat on the back, a high five, because if you made it to the end of this video, you have two very important skills or personality traits. Number 1 is listening, and number 2 is patience. So those things will go a very long way in the world where everything's clickbait and you have 5 seconds and people make up their minds and people don't really listen to the other side, the other opinion. So give yourself some credit. Those 2 skills will go a very long way in your life. So keep exercising those. That's great. But whether I change your mind or not, that's awesome. If you made it to the end of this video, let me know in the comments, and definitely let me know as well if I change your mind. Maybe you can change my mind. This is what it's all about. So thank you guys for joining me as always. Keep a lookout for episode 3, because these topics are only going to get more heated and more controversial. So if you like that kind of stuff, look out for episode 3. I will also link you guys down below to my Steam group, so you never miss another video. You can join the very elite Squirrely Squad treehouse. And yeah, thank you so much. Keep a lookout for the next video. I hope to see you guys in casual. And until then, peace.
I believe in you, Squirrely. Holy shit, nice. Nice job, guys.
Yes! Good job, guys.
Nice job, Epic Gamers.